So, from Bhagavad Gita, we were discussing our 11th verse from chapter 2nd. And yes, we'll continue from there. So, please sing after me. Shri Bhagwan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Ashochan Anushocastvam Pragyan Vadansh Bhashase.
Mataji, the screen went black.
Ashochan Anushocastvam Pragyan Vadansh Bhashase.
Ashocyanan Vachshojastvam Prajnavatamscha Bhashase
Gatasun agatamsumscha nanushocanti panditah.
Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanushocanti Pandita.
Beautiful. So we saw that Krishna, he was chastising Arjuna, that, oh Arjuna, you are speaking so learned words. See, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So we discussed two commentaries. We discussed commentary by Sridhar Swami. We discussed commentary by Ramanujacharya, where we discussed, they explained about how a person, he never laments for a living person, and also not a person who has dead or who has left the body, because ultimately these are the transformations of the body and not the soul remains the same. So there is no, it's like senseless, it's useless to lament for living or dead. All right, so today we will, you know move forward, and we will discuss the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sararth Varshini. So let's see, it's very interesting. I hope it's visible, the text, or is it very small? Visible?
It's a bit little, but I will listen to you.
Okay, let me just zoom it. So let's see. Shri Krishna says, O Arjuna, your grief arising from the thought of killing your relatives is based on delusion. Likewise, your reasoning, such as, how shall I fight against Bhishma in battle, is based on a lack of true wisdom. Why is this statement true? So why Krishna is saying that, whatever you're saying, it's based on a delusion and it's based on a lack of true wisdom? Why? So for this reason, Sri Bhagwan says, Ashochan Anvashocha. You are lamenting for those who are not worthy for lamentation. So we saw this in translation as well, that you are lamenting for these people who are not worthy, means you're lamenting for the body, and it's useless to lament for the body. Shri Krishna further says that although I am trying to enlighten and console you are speaking words such as Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe, and engaging in arguments that you consider to be expressions of wisdom. So it's very interesting that although Arjuna is he was quoting so many verses and he was giving arguments, but those arguments, whatever discrimination he was, putting forward, it was out of his foolishness. This is what Krishna trying to say here, that okay, you are, you're trying to prove here that you're using your discriminative power, but it is out of your foolishness. This is out of lack of true wisdom. Intelligence is there, but you are talking in a way which shows that you have lack of true wisdom. So suppose if if any person, he has not read Bhagavad Gita in his life, so he's lamenting, he is getting affected from whatever situations comes in life. So that is understandable, because he has never read Bhagavad Gita, so he really don't understand who he really is and what is true wisdom. But on the other side, if any person or a devotee, he has read Bhagavad Gita, he's very regular in the classes, reciting verses, very consistent, and understanding Bhagavad Gita. But even after understanding Bhagavad Gita so nicely, if he laments, so it shows that intelligence is there, but still there is lack of true wisdom. He is behaving in such a way that there is no any intelligence. So same way Krishna is telling here. Okay, this proves that you do not actually possess true wisdom. For those who are truly learned and wise, do not lament for the gata soon. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is taking a different meaning of gata soon here. Those from whom the life breath has departed, meaning their gross physical bodies, because such bodies are inherently temporary and perishable. Nor do the learned lament for the agatasun. So, gatasun here means physical body, and agatasun is those whose life breath has not departed, referring to their subtle bodies. Do you understand the meaning of subtle body?
Um, yes, I know the expression. Um, so this is not the physical body. Is that correct?
Yes. So, there are three layers. First is soul, then on soul, it's subtle body, which is our mind, intelligence, and, you know, uh, ego, false ego. This is our subtle body, and then comes this physical body. So, Gata Soon, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is taking this meaning. Gata Soon is physical body, and Agata Soon is subtle body. Now, it's very interesting because subtle body, even a person has left this physical body, but his subtle body do not die. It only destroys when a person has completely he self realized, and when he go back to Krishna, only then his subtle body destroys. Otherwise, simply by leaving this physical body, subtle body do not destroy. So that's why you will see in the same family there are siblings, but they are completely different. Their habits do not match, their interests do not match, even though they are the children of same mother. But then also their behaviors, their activities, their habits are different, completely different. Why? Because uh, it's continuing from his past life, their subtle body. Subtle body means whatever sanskaras they had. So subtle body means whatever past sanskaras we had, we are carrying forward it from our past life. So subtle bodies do not destroy, even after physical body destroys. So like that. The subtle body also remains until liberation, and therefore is not destroyed before liberation. It only destroys when one is completely self realized and he liberates from this material world for always. In both cases, the respective nature of these bodies is difficult to abandon. Foolish people, however, now it's very interesting. See, In both cases, the respective nature of these bodies is difficult to abandon. Please try to understand this. There is no past of soul. We are being compressed in our consciousness, s- and that's why we assume that, my past exists, my future exists, like that, because we have been compressed in our situation, consciousness. So, past, present, or future, these exist only for those things which changes, which transforms, but soul never transforms. Are you getting this? In Bhagavad Gita, only Krishna will tell this in this chapter only, that how soul is, soul is aparivartanshil. Aparivartanshil means which never changes. So we are not changing. Let's understand this. You will understand this, how we are not changing. See, we are not changing, and proof is that we are able to perceive transformations around us, transformations in our body, because we are not changing. So because we are not changing, only because of this reason, we are able to perceive means we are able to understand that things are transforming around me, or in this body. So yes, thus soul does not transform. Nothing is transforming in soul. Whatever transformations we are seeing, it's in this material body, or whatever, material things. In spiritual world, there is no kal. Kal means this past, future, or present. Nothing is there in spiritual world, because realized souls are residing there. I was discussing about Asht Sakhis. So, you know, Asht Sakhis, the 8 friends, girlfriends of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, they are eternally 14 years. 14 years, they are eternally. So there is no time. Time means there is no kal. See, it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that in this material world, sun is uh, decreasing the ages of people. Ayur Harati Vaipunsam, it's shlok like this, that, the sun is uh, decreasing, basically snatching the ages of the people. And which people? Basically, who are not serving Krishna. If we are serving Krishna, so, that time, our um, our ages are not decreasing, and that's why, it is said devotees, they live long, because they are serving Krishna. On the other hand, people who are not, serving Krishna, or doing something for self realization, they leave their body so quickly. So yes, we also hear that how Krishna is 16 years from eternal time, and he's not. Yes, so like that, he is 16 years from eternal time. So there is no kala, time, in spiritual world. The ages of beings are not decreasing. Decreasing means, are you understanding what is the right term? Can you correct? I know decrease is not the right word, but
I think decrease is good. It's not um reversing or diminishing or going
yes, yes,
less. It's
perfect.
timeless.
Okay, let's see. Foolish people, however, lament when the life breath departs from the physical bodies of their fathers and other relatives. They do not lament for the subtle body because they are generally unfamiliar with the subtle body. So yes, because people, they do not know about subtle body, so they do not lament for the subtle body. Only, any person who is practicing spirituality, he is only aware that, yeah, subtle body also exists. Otherwise, they do not care about subtle body because they do not know about it. Bhishma and the others are selves possessing both gross and subtle bodies. Since the self is eternal, there is no reason to lament for it. Clear. Therefore, although earlier you were establishing the superiority of the Dharma Shastra over the Arth Shastra, it's very important line. I'm now explaining that the Gyan Shastra, the scripture of spiritual knowledge, is even more powerful than the Dharma Shastra. So, Arjuna was quoting Dharma Shastra, Arth Shastra, where, he was quoting that violence is not good. If I am killing my own kinsmen, so I'm committing violence here. But no, Krishna is explaining here that Jnana Shastra means by following the process, that process from which one realizes self, that he is not this body, he is eternal soul, eternal servant of the Lord. That is Gyan Shastra. So, Gyan Shastra, the scripture of spiritual knowledge, is even more powerful than the Dharma Shastra. So, that's why, Krishna is telling here that fighting, this fighting with your, relatives will give you self realization. So, that's why this is your very duty. Because, he was Kshatriya, Arjuna was Kshatriya, and if he is performing his duty to fight, so his when he'll perform his duty, so that will give him self realization. So that's why Krishna, he is explaining him that you should perform your duty, you should fight. But in Kali Yuga, it's not it's not appropriate like that. In that time it was appropriate. So we already understand that in every yuga there are different processes for self realization. In Kali Yuga, the process for self realization is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Harinam Sankirtan. So, like that. Therefore, one who understands the truth of the Atma knows the self to be uh, undecaying, immortal, and eternal, and does not become disturbed by the destruction of gross body. Such a person does not lament for the body. So, let's see more here. The Jivatma or Jiva is an infinitess. I don't know if it's correct word because it's chat GPT. Can you see the word infinite simul?
Um, yeah, that's a good word. Infinitesimal.
Okay, perfect. Conscious part associated with the Tathastha Shakti of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now, do you understand Tathastha Shakti? We are Tathastha Shakti of Krishna. Tathastha means, see, Tat means the edge, not edge, but the corner of the river.
Mm.
So,
Oh, I see.
yes, so
Yes.
when we are standing there, so we have choice. Either we can go in the water, in the river, or we can remain on the land. So we have this choice. So same way we are Tathastha Shakti of Krishna, we are on the Tata, the corner of the river, where we have choice. Either we can take shelter of Krishna or we can take shelter of Maya Devi. So this is
Oh,
our
it's
choice. So
yes,
yes,
marginal.
exactly, marginal potency of Krishna. Thank you so much
Mataji, I
for
have one
reminding.
question.
What?
I have one question. Yeah.
Your voice is, very low, Mataji. You can,
Hare Krishna.
remove your headphone and then say.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Okay, yes, please continue.
Yes, may I audible now, Mataji?
Yes.
I need to know, like you said that Jeev Atma. Jeev Atma is residing in each and everything, like I can say animals, plants. Like
Yes.
is it right?
Yes. Yes.
But
Jivatma
they,
means soul, living
yeah,
being.
soul, right? So soul is residing in each and everything. Like as Srila Prabhupada said that we have some multiple of bodies are there. So soul are residing in those, and that's how we come as a human birth. So I need to know that basically ki Jeev Atma has the only right to choose. Either we can go to the material energy or we can go to the spiritual energy. So, but plants,
No. See, try to understand. Jivatma means soul. But because a soul, soul, if that soul is in different bodies, so that soul will behave differently according to the consciousness. So in human form of life only we have such consciousness where we can make a choice that whether I need to go in shelter of Krishna or Maya Devi. Because other beings, they are not conscious enough. They cannot chant Hare Krishna or serve Krishna in those species. That's why human form of life is very precious. The time in human form of life is very precious. So because of this reason only that we have such elevated consciousness where we can understand things. So I hope this satisfies your query. We'll move ahead. So yes, Tatastha
definitely.
Shakti, like that. It was very interesting, isn't it? Marginal potency. Okay. Sachidananda Para Tattva. So Para Shakti is living. Uh, Para Shakti means living beings, and Apara Shakti is non-living. So whatever non-living things we see, that is also Krishna's uh, energy, whatever being manifested here. By nature, the jiva is an infinitesimal conscious being. Basically, what does it mean? This word means that we are also Satchidanand like Krishna. Our nature is also blissful, knowledgeable, and eternal like Krishna. So, like that. Okay. Its eternal and inherent constitutional duty is to serve Bhagwan. The jiva is of two types, liberated and bound. So, liberated means who are there in Krishna's abode, they are liberated, and bound means who are there in this material world. And you know what? There are also many uh, Parshadas of Krishna who are Nitya Siddha Mukta, means they never came to this material world, they are manifestations of Krishna only. But Krishna really like conditional souls much. You know why? Because conditional souls, they are making efforts. They work hard to get the love of Krishna. So Krishna appreciates our efforts. Whatever, however, we are in this situation, in this position where we are going through with our anarthas, with whatever bad habits or things we have, but still we are trying our best, we are giving our best to get the love of Godhead so that we may go back to him. So Krishna really appreciates it, these efforts. He appreciates our efforts. A liberated jiva remains forever engaged in loving service to Bhagwan. So, yes, once we get liberated from this material world, we will also be in this category, mukta, liberated. And then we'll never fall down in this material world. So, liberated jiva remains forever engaged in loving service to Bhagwan in Bhagwan's spiritual abode. Such a jiva never falls from that state. The bound jiva, however, has forgotten service to Bhagwan from beginningless time, covered by the two material bodies, the gross, that is sthula sharira, and the subtle or linga body, that is linga sharira or uh, what we call that, stool. Anyways, I'm forgetting the Hindi word. The bound jiva experiences the threefold miseries in this material world as a consequence of material existence. Yes, so it's very bad actually, that you will see today parents. I don't know if it's happening right now also, but earlier, I don't know if this happens with this happened with you also, Yunus Mataji, that in school time when we were not studying, so parents used to punish us. They would slap us, or with stick they would beat us, like, you study, why are you not studying? You have to, you have to become successful in your life. But that was actually not any success. That was really not any study. So you know what, if we are not reading, if we are not studying the actual knowledge, that is Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then, so here when we are not studying those material books, so our parents punishes us. But if we are not studying Bhagavad Gita, so illusory energy of Krishna, Maya Devi, punishes us with these threefold miseries. Do you understand? Threefold miseries,
Mhm.
which we get from our own body, which we get from other beings, and which we get from demigods, the natural disasters and all those things. From
Mhm.
others, we get suffering like mosquito biting, or any other animal, or even people, if they are giving us some anxiety or stuff like that. So that is sufferings from others, and suffering from our own body, we get sick, and whatever things we get from our body, the sufferings. So these are threefold miseries we get in this material world if we are not working in invoking our relationship with Krishna. So it's very nice. So, there is more information about gross body, sthul sharira. The material body of a bound jiva is composed of the five great elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. We already know this. Therefore, it is temporary and perishable. So, not only this body, but everything in this material world is composed of these five elements. At death, the jiva's gross body changes. Birth is inevitably accompanied by death. So, as soon as he leaves his body, immediately he is transferred to another body. Whether today, tomorrow, or after many years, death is unavoidable for every embodied living being. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, O hero, death is born along with the body of those who are subject to birth. So, who are subject to birth? Who didn't make any effort for invoking their relationship with God. So, they are subject to take birth. Whether today or at the end of 100 years, death is certainly fixed for every living being. The same principle is expressed in Bhagavad Gita 2.27, which we'll read. For one who has taken birth, death is certain. Now, about subtle or linga sharir. This is called Sushma Sharir. Now memorize the word, remember the word. Sukshma Sharira. The subtle body, also called the Linga Sharira, is the designation for the material covering consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego, which conceals the jiva's pure spiritual nature. With every birth, a new gross body is obtained, and the time of death, that gross body is destroyed. Gross body is destroyed, but the subtle body, however, does not undergo destruction in the same way. It has been covering the jiva's true nature since beginningless time, means from eternal time, because of the jiva's forgetfulness of its relationship with Krishna. So, it's very dangerous actually that whatever activities a person is doing, engaging in, who is not devoted to Krishna. Suppose if any person is consuming food which is not offered to Krishna, even sometimes on cheat days he is doing that. So that would bound him, and he have to take another birth in this material world for that. So it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam by Kapil Deva. He's explaining about how child is suffering in the womb of a mother. So later that child, earlier he was praying that please my lord, please help me relieve from this pain, and I may come out from the womb, and I would serve you throughout my life. But then later he was praying, he was means every being who did bhakti, devotion to Krishna in his past life, but because he got distracted, so now he has to take another birth in this material world. So only that person will pray. Not every being would pray from Krishna. So this is rare. So yes, later he's praying that I do not wish to come out from the womb of the mother. I just wish to stay here only, because as soon as I'll come out, then again I may get distracted, and I would perform those activities which would not be in relation to you, my lord. So best would be I stay in the womb, and here only, uh, by your remembrance. So remembering Krishna is also bhakti, devotion to Krishna. Remembering Krishna is very amazing. So yes, he's praying that by just remembering, I would stay in the womb, and I would practice Smaranam, remembering you. And with that, when I leave my body in this womb only, I'll come back to you. So now you might be wondering, how is that possible? It's possible because when that jiva is capable of praying in the womb, so he's also capable of remembering, and that capability is coming from Krishna. This we will discuss in Srimad Bhagavatam later, when we'll get opportunity, when we'll start Srimad Bhagavatam. But yes, I was telling, in summary, that how it's very much dangerous in this world, that any person, if he is not doing anything related to Krishna, means whatever he's doing, if he's not doing it in connection to Krishna, then that would become a reason for another bondage, and he has to take another birth in this material world. Because try to understand, until we will not become completely purified, we won't be able to go back to Krishna. Because in spiritual world, there is no scope of contaminated consciousness like we have here in this material world. So it's very much important that we purify ourselves by practicing Krishna consciousness nicely throughout the life. And it's not very difficult. I enjoy Krishna consciousness. It's very fun, especially when you're trying to connect other people with Krishna consciousness. It's very amazing. The subtle body does not disappear merely through jnana, yoga, austerity. Vedic study, meditation, and similar practices, even when these produce remembrance of Bhagavan. So, it would only destroy when one gets liberated. It is destroyed only through the practice of devotional service to Bhagavan, Bhagavad Bhakti, through which genuine remembrance of Bhagavan arises. At that time, the jiva becomes established in this pure spiritual nature. The text supports this through various scriptural statements, including, the following: as long as there is no love for me, Vasudeva, one is not freed from association with the body. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.6. So, we are practicing bhakti not, to become any scholar, or become perfect in everything. We are practicing bhakti to invoke love for God. if we, if we will learn this art of loving God, then naturally we'll be, whatever we are doing, we'll do it in connection to Krishna. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to think that, oh, I have to do it for Krishna, oh, I have to connect this also with Krishna. So when we have such mentality, so love is not there yet. I'm not saying there is no love at all, but try to understand, when we invoke this love for God, then naturally we'll be doing everything in relation to Krishna. Just like, a girlfriend or boyfriend, because they are in love with each other, so they naturally do things for each other's pleasure. So same way, like that, he becomes liberated from the subtle body. uh, Fear arises from absorption in something separate from the supreme. This is very, important line. We will discuss it in next commentary by Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. So, okay, by contemplating and following the meaning of these verses, it becomes very clear that although the subtle body is beginningless, its continuation is caused by forgetfulness of Bhagwan, and its destruction occurs through remembrance of Bhagwan. So, Srila Rupa Goswami gives us this solution, that we need to follow, that we never forget Krishna and we always remember Krishna. So that way we would always be happy. Okay, moving back to our. You wish to add something about whatever we have discussed so far?
That was a very nice screen that you shared. The content, how it was like it's broken down in a way that, these different things for us to take into account and um, to be able to accept and assimilate very easily. And um, yeah, the what you explained about the subtle body and its function, um, it's you don't find this in a lot of philosophies. So it's yeah, I'm glad that this has come up, and that from from his purport. And so when you mentioned the threefold miseries, sometimes I confuse them with birth, disease, and dying. But now that you brought them up, those that are the ones that are affecting us in a way that is very detrimental. That's why they're miseries. Um, yeah, that's very interesting too, because so I hope I got it correctly. So it was the ones that we inflict ourselves, and there can be demigods and other people. Yeah.
True.
Um, so just wondering like the environment, how, like, if the air is polluted and this is affecting us, for example, but then that's still us, that
Yeah.
we all play a part in damaging our planet, and then we're
Correct.
affected.
Exactly.
It's a tricky
So,
one.
it's happening in Kali Yuga, but it's not the same way in previous yugas. When we hear pastimes of Krishna, so, it's mentioned. Right now I'm reading Krishna book, so it's mentioned there that how Krishna is wandering in the forest, and it's so green, there are beautiful flowers. So it's even when we are hearing about these, so it's very relishing, but it's not the same way now. So it's because this is Kali Yuga, and people, they are engaged in such things, and they are destroying the planet by their activities.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's very sad when we don't know what to do about it.
Yes, we
Um,
have, what we can do is we do our bhakti nicely and we go back to Krishna. This is the only solution. We cannot change anything here. Yes. So
yeah, and mm,
intelligence is we hanker to go back to Krishna. That's why we are hearing these scriptures, because we our condition is so, we are so conditioned that even this world is not very nice, but we are conditioned to stay here. That's why it's important that we hear beautiful pastimes of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, like that, so that we may
mm,
hanker to go back to spiritual world.
yeah, thank you for reminding us of this, because you know uh, maybe like because we have all these different modes, these different states of mind throughout the day. Sometimes we feel like I will let this go, and this is going to be just devotional service, and I don't have to be concerned. And then sometimes it comes back and we want to take control. So it's like falling for that trap. Um, so it's we have to so what I'm getting at is that we need to develop the strength to be able to stick to the practice without um going one side to side and changing our minds, and the hesitation, the doubt, and um yeah, and I think that's why Bhagavad Gita is helping us with this, so that we can stick to the service. I don't know if this is the main point, but that's how I'm finding it.
Yes. Good. Okay, let's move forward. We need to complete this verse today. Okay. As Arjuna stood silently, the Lord began deriding his intelligence. Oh, Arjuna, you are lamenting for the sons of Dhritarashtra, who are not even worthy of lamentation. Anvashochaha ashochan. And you speak words supposedly from wise people, such as seeing my relatives and friends gathered for fighting, my limbs are weakening, and how can I fight those worthy of worship? But you do not have even a drop of wisdom. So Sri Krishna is chastising here. But you will see, when we get such chastisement from our senior or our spiritual masters, so we know that that chastisement is not out of envy, but that is out of their affection for us. They do not expect us to behave in such way, because if we are also behaving like materialistic people, then what is the difference between us and those materialistics who are so much absorbed in materialistic things and lamenting? So we should try to put ourselves in such a special position. At least we should try to do it uh, externally, that because people, they do not expect such behavior from us. So just like Arjuna was sorry Krishna was not at all expecting such behavior from Arjuna. That's why he's chastising him, that you do not have even a drop of wisdom. Your words may seem like you are a great pandita, but you do not have even a drop of wisdom. You speak like so called intelligent people who are actually not intelligent. So, yes, this chastisement was out of affection, and it's very nice. It's actually necessary that we get such type of chastisement sometimes, so that we may, become more sincere and serious, and we come on the track. So these uh, discussions helps. So sometimes, when uh, while discussing only, I try to give such chastisement to devotees, so that they may come on the track. If I am not telling them directly, so at least by hearing these lectures, they may understand. And it helps because, we are not directly pointing them. This might has happened with every one of us. We might have heard a lecture, and that speaker is not pointing us. He may not know us, but he's giving, he's pointing those things in a way that, our consciousness may awake, that, oh, yes, what am I doing? I should work on it. I'm not on the track. So, like that, it's very important. So, just like that, Krishna is giving him chastisement out of affection for his welfare. Those who are wise do not lament for the gross bodies from which the life heirs have departed, Gatasun, nor for the subtle bodies from which the life heirs have not departed, Agatasun. So Gatasun means dead, Agatasun means living. Nor for the souls indicated by the word cha. So yes, cha indicates the word soul. So see, Gatasun means people who dead, means who left the body. So, wise person will not lament for that person who has left the body. Agatasun means person who is alive. So we discussed this in our previous class, that how people, they lament for living, people who are alive, by imposing their expectations on them. My children is not hearing me, he's not obedient to me. Can you see this, how even parents, externally it may appear that they are our parents and they love us so much, but it's very true, because it's not their mistake, it's conditioning, that they try to impose their expectations on parents, sorry, on their children. They try to impose their desires on their children. And even, that child might not have the same interest that their parents have or expect from them. But out of force, everyone is doing in this way only right now. Their parents impose their desires on their children, and now that child, they are that child is working so hard to fulfill the expectations or desires of their of their parents. So this is also sense gratification. This is, quite subtle, but this is also one thing which one should understand, that a conditioned soul means he's conditioned to gratify his senses. So it might not be gross sense gratification, like, the physical relationships and all, but it can also be subtle sense gratification, like just we discussed right now. So, anyways, we saw the meaning. What does it mean? Agata soon, lamenting for the living, and not for the souls, indicated by the word cha. Note, agata soon, the life heirs go with the subtle body after death. Life heirs means soul go with the subtle body after death. This we have, discussed in previous commentary just now. The life heirs and the subtle body separate from the gross body at the death. So both soul and subtle body separates from the gross body, but this is kind of layering. The contamination which we say that we have contaminated consciousness, that's why we are not able to realize ourselves or our relationship with God. That contamination is that subtle body, the layers on the soul. This is the meaning. Is lamentation caused by the destruction of the gross body or the destruction of the subtle body? There should be no lamentation because the destruction of the gross bodies is inevitable due to their very nature. And you will see, there should be no lamentation for the destruction of the subtle body since it is indestructible until liberation. So, see, subtle body is also material, but it's just, it's layering, it's contamination on the soul. That's why it only gets destroyed when one liberates from this material world. And you will see this subtle body is actually more, um this subtle body gives more sufferings to a person, because this is our false ego only, that we want respect from others. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us trinadapi sunichena, you should you know become humble, and you should become humble like a grass, no, humble like a tree, and you should aspire no respect, just like that piece of a grass. So that piece of a grass is so tolerant that even a person steps on it, it's still tolerant, that never aspire for respect. But because of our false ego, we aspire for respect, that yes, people should respect us, they should appreciate us, should become famous. So these things are actually very dangerous, and these things develops so much lamentation. That's why it's not very good for our bhakti. I mentioned this in our previous class also, that Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur mentions this appreciation or fame. Uh, he compares it with the stool of the ass. So it's so much, it's not very nice thing, especially for devotees, because this false ego only, that I want to become famous in this world, I want to achieve this, I want to build career. These are the only reasons for us being trapped in this material world, and it's happening from eternal time. This is not the only time we are hankering for these things. We have been hankering for these things from eternal time, and that's why we are here in this world suffering like this, birth after birth, death after death, like that. But now when we are in this movement, and especially when Prabhupada has given us so much freedom, that you just chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, consume Krishna prasadam. So we should give our all to at least follow these things. If we are not able to do even more things, then there is some scope that we may go back to Krishna in this lifetime only. So we should never endeavor like materialistic people to make career in this world, or achieve something big in this world, because ultimately it's temporary. There should be no lamentation, but if any person is hankering for these things, so there would be lamentation. This is what Krishna is saying here. So there should be no lamentation for the destruction of the subtle body, since it is indestructible until liberation. Therefore, there should be no lamentation for the soul, because it is devoid of the 6 changes and is eternal. So it's very interesting. We discussed it, that there is no transformation in soul. How? So see, note, mentioned by Yaska. जायते अस्ति वर्धते विप्रणमते अपक्ष्यते vinashyati. What does it mean? So see, there are 6 transformations uh, which happens in this body. What are those? Birth, a person takes birth. Existence, then he stays here for some time. Then he increase means our we are aging. We are not the babies now, we are aging. So this is increase. Transformation means uh, begetting children. That is transformation. Byproducts. Decay. So when old age comes, we become weak, our body decays, and then we die. So these are the 6 transformations happen in this material body. But soul is devoid of these 6 changes. Why? Because it is eternal. Nirukta 1.2. There should be no cause at all for lamentation for those who know the nature of the body and the soul. Okay, so there is no scope of lamentation. It has been said that there is predominance of Dharma Shastra over Arth Shastra. That may be so, but that Dharma Shastra is refuted by the stronger Jnana Shastra. The mistake of thinking worthy of lamentation, those things which are not really worthy of lamentation, is the quality of a fool. So now see, Krishna is chastising not only Arjuna but to us also, that if we are lamenting for material possessions, material designations in this world, so we are fool. And Krishna is very direct. Krishna is not turning things around. He's direct. He's fool. If he is lamenting for those things which are really not worthy of lamentation, then it is the quality of a fool. This is not suitable to you who are learned. So when we are also on this path, so we are also learning things, so we should also learn that we do not lament. Every time we should try to see things whenever when our when we get overwhelmed with grief or lamentation, so think we should try to pause and think, what if I leave my body today evening? So for whatever things I am hankering for, that would not help me to stay, and that would remain here only. Suppose if I'm working hard so much for earning so much money or earning fame, this that, and if I have to leave my body this evening only, which is possible, we don't know, that is uncertain, it can come anytime, then what will we do? So just like it is said, it was mentioned actually, that a king, he is respected so much because of his powers, but he is not respected in his old age, because all his powers and potencies are snatched away from him, because now he is old, he's of no use. But on the other side, a person who is filled with this true wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, he is respected even in old age. And you can see, the sannyasis in ISKCON, why do we respect them? Because they are full of this wisdom, this knowledge, and they are helping other people also, that they may also, become aware about who they are. So it's very interesting point. Now we'll see the purport of Prabhupada. It's very small. Then we'll conclude our session here. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit, and the both, and the controller of both. So see, real knowledge is to understand matter. Matter means uh, materialistic things, and spirit, soul, and controller of both, that is God. So this is real knowledge. And you can see nowhere in schools or colleges or universities, nowhere they are teaching this knowledge. In fact, they are teaching those things which would become another reason for the bondage. And a person has to take birth in this world again. And then again, suppose if you become, if suppose any person got distracted, and again suppose he, it's guaranteed he'll get human form of life. But again, you will be a baby, then you'll have to you know hang that huge bag on your shoulders of lots of books. Then you will be sent to the school with that bottle on your neck. And then you have to study ABCD. And again, it's very suffering. I really don't like schools. I i don't want to even remember those days. In fact, I feel very happy that, thank God, I am, you know relieved from those school times. But if any person, if he'll again take the bird, so he will again have to repeat all these things. Would you like to again go to the school, Yunis Mataji or Jayati Mataji, and learn again A, B, C, D, and whatever mathematics and whatever things we learned?
Well, the only fact I like about the school that I managed to learn English, and because of that only I can manage to hear you properly.
I didn't get you.
Is that voice audible, which I said?
Yes, now it's audible. Audible. It was not
Okay.
audible earlier. Hmm.
The the only good thing I realized when school is that only right now is that I managed to learn English, and due to that I can manage to hear you properly. The only thing I like about everything now, like if I conclude, rather than being lamenting, I just want to say that thank God I learn English so that I can manage to listen to you properly. Simple.
Yes, actually, this is what Prabhupada tells, that one should only learn mathematics, like basic mathematics, English, and Hindi, so that he may understand this wisdom. And even, if we do not learn English or other languages, if we know our native language also, then also it helps, because suppose if any person is unable to read, so he can at least hear, and by hearing also he can understand many things and devote himself to Krishna. And you will see many, devotees, uh, their, education background is not very strong, but because they are hearing, they are practicing bhakti, so their life is perfect. So this is real knowledge, to know matter, spirit, and controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. And because of this reason, it's a complete waste of time if a person is lamenting, because he'll not get anything if he's lamenting. It's just waste of time. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. We don't know. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned. One who knows this is actually learned. And for him, there is no cause of lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. All right, with this, we have completed this verse. And please go ahead if you wish to add something. We learned so many good things today. You know, these discussions helps uh, detaching us from whatever things we are attached to. It helps very much.
Mm. Yeah, I'm understanding that. I mean, I'm hoping that this is. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm understanding, that Sri Krishna is speaking to the attitude and the, they call it folly, like the, you know, um, yeah, the ignorant part of Arjuna. So he's saying these harsh words like you don't have a drop of wisdom to that aspect of Arjuna, because Arjuna is his friend, and Arjuna seems to be someone possessing lots of good qualities. Um, not just like he's an amazing archer, and he seems to have some sense, and then he's associated to Shri Krishna. So I- I'm understanding he just speaks to that aspect where he's not getting it. Um, that's what I'm thinking, because um, they're very good friends. And Sri Krishna, I mean, it's very nice that he put himself in the position like a student, and Sri Krishna is the master here. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. It's nice that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I understand what you mean about, when you have to go to school, and you have all these duties that you don't necessarily ask for, and they're being imposed on you. Um, that's how sometimes it felt for me, actually. Even though, I mean, I did really like so many different subjects, and even then, after leaving school, then I was like releasing myself from all those things. Then
good.
I still wanted to know so many things, and I mean, this is how we find somehow. I mean, we hope that Shri Krishna is gonna manifest, himself in these things, and that we can use them. Um, like Jayati Mataji is saying that, learning English, then she can hear Krishna Katha in this meeting and this kind of thing. Yeah, I was,
So
because actually.
definitely, you
Mm,
please, just a minute. Definitely,
mhm.
if you still wish to aspire skills for Krishna, then you can go ahead. If you want to learn different languages so that you may discuss Krishna Katha, you can go ahead. If you wish to learn different instruments so that you can play songs and kirtans for Krishna, then you can go ahead. So, uh, Krishna consciousness is not limiting us, but we can do unlimited things for Krishna if we wish to do. So it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm actually surprised that you're saying that, these things, because I think you're very learned. So, yeah, it's exactly. I agree with what Jayati Mataji is saying, because you communicate very well. So so we're grateful for that.
You
This
know,
is what I
I am.
learned from Srila Prabhupada's books actually. He always says every material energy has the capacity to change it into a spiritual energy. That I when I was going through with Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, he said it specifically that devotees are this is the teachings of basically Rupa Goswami. He mentioned that we have to use everything for the service of Krishna. That is the meaning of devotee. Devotees never see this as material, this is nothing. No, he says that devotees always sees that how can I use it for the service of Krishna. As simple as that. Matlab, this is what I really like about Rupa Goswami, because other material Mayavadi says that I don't want to get into Mayavadi's philosophy is this, that we don't want to interrupt in money and all that stuff. We don't mean to engage anything and all that stuff. We have to keep it separate from this system, money and all that. We don't need too much entangled in that. But Srila Prabhupada says very differently. He said we should need to use this money for Krishna service. As simple as that. So I
Hmm.
was like, thanks to Rupa Goswami and basically Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, who built this spiritual knowledge. That makes my life very easy, I can say. Or I can say the mostly Hindus, or you can say the people who stays in India who are a little bit inclined towards spirituality, seems like that, but actually not. They have this capacity to think, to leave everything for the God. I have done that too, by the way. But I realized I am even become more worse human being, I can say. I
Yes,
realized, no,
this is
this is
called
not.
Yukt Vairagya. Yukt Vairagya. That we accept whatever is favorable in Krishna's service and we reject which is not. Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
No, that was the main thing. Yeah, and I'd like to hear, Jayati Mataji's
Yes,
point.
I was saying to Jayati Mataji, I interrupted you. Please continue whatever you're saying.
No, that's it. I'm done with that. Look, that's what I've. That is the only motivation I have in my life to do everything, because I feel I have this mode of energy, is more like mode of passion. I have a lot in that, and I think okay, let's use it for the service of Krishna. I have, if I have this more like that, so now I can see in Varna ashram where I come into that. Then accordingly, I just do it like that. Simple. That's it.
Okay, good. So with this, we will stop here. And yes, hopefully we'll meet tomorrow if Krishna is willing. Thank you so much for your association and time. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.